Hi everybody. I just wanted to come in and introduce you guys to a new series that I am going to be putting out on my channel called the Women of Wisdom series. In today's discussion, I'm talking with Mother Joyce Wells, who is a member of my church, and she's talking about the impact that sugar had on her son and his diagnosis of ADD. Her story was very compelling because when she told her testimony, it was very powerful, the impact of the removal of sugar from her son's diet and the impact on his diagnosis. I hope you guys will find this video interesting and informative. This video will be presented in 3 parts. Part 1 of Mother Joyce Wells Speaks. All right, everybody, this is missionary Mother Joyce Wells. She is a member of my church, and she had a very powerful testimony about the effects of sugar on her son. So I wanted to bring her to you guys and have her have an opportunity to tell her testimony and talk about what happened with her son and with this sugar.
Good day. I am Mother Joyce Wells at New Life Fellowship, and it's wonderful to be here. And I love this lady, Lady Robin. And so she wants me to talk about a testimony that I gave one Sunday regarding my youngest son, who, when he was in elementary school, maybe 2nd, 3rd grade, was diagnosed with ADD, attention deficit disorder. And this, it was back in the 80s.
Okay.
When that particular illness seemed to have become rampant,
Yes.
in the world that we know. I actually was not familiar with it at all. No one in my family, I grew up with 9 children. We didn't get a diagnosis like that. And as a matter of fact, he was the only one of my children, we raised 7, who was really hyper, very active, and his attention span was extremely short, next to nothing. And as a young mother, young adult, young mother, and had only heard about this, it seemed, recent illness of children in that time. And so he was struggling in school. And about 3rd grade, I think, his elementary school actually did tell us that someone would have to be in school with him all day.
Oh, wow.
Or we'd have to find another school. This was a public school.
Wow.
In Illinois.
Interesting.
But I knew he was extremely hyper because, he was that way at home.
Yes.
And because we weren't that familiar with it, we actually did see it as a child being disobedient.
Right.
It did look like it was someone who just did not want to obey, didn't want to control himself, probably wanted to push the envelope, so to speak.
Right.
And we did kind of deal with him the normal way we would a child that needed some correction.
Right.
Okay.
Yes. Understood.
We did some spanking. I got to just tell you.
Yes.
The whoopings, as we call it. We put punishment in place. We tried to coax him with reward systems,
And those things weren't effective.
They worked temporarily.
Okay.
Short span of time. He actually would do good in school for a limited amount of time. Which is probably why I thought, okay, he's just falling off and being disobedient, because when he tried really, really, really hard, he was able to get it together, I guess, under the fear of something right. or the reward of something. Mm-hmm. But he was very hyper, very hyper. Okay. And so I actually thought maybe he had inherited. The school recommended that we take him to see a physician. Mm-hmm. They did tell me, his teacher did tell me that she thought he would be diagnosed with ADD. Okay. And really explained it to me. And, I looked it up and got more information about that issue. We did take him to the doctor. And sure enough, the doctor did diagnose him with attention deficit disorder. As well as write out a prescription for me for a drug called Ritalin. Yeah. Yeah. I called my husband and told him that's what they did. Right. In the meantime, I was on my way to get the prescription filled as well. And even in the car, my husband was saying, we're not going to put him on any drugs. We're not going to put him on drugs. Right. Nothing that's going to be mind altering to make him think that he need to be drugged to control himself. Okay. Mm-hmm. But I brought the prescription home. I brought it home in hopes that, your mind is like, okay, it's what the doctor prescribed. And, I had so much trust in what doctors say. But I brought it home and my husband looked at it, and we actually did go online and we looked up the side effects of Ritalin. I've got 4 pages. I'm not going to read them, just a few of them, of side effects, warnings, precautions, interaction things about this drug that they were prescribing to children elementary age.
How old was your son?
About 3rd grade, so I'd say 8, I think.
Oh my
or
goodness.
7.
7 probably.
7 or 8.
Old Melody is right now.
About a 3rd grade, about 8 years old. But some of the side effects were excitement, insomnia, anorexia,
oh my goodness,
weight loss, headache disorder, nausea, upper abdominal pain, nervousness, acute abdominal pain, irritability, hypertension, upper respiratory infection, aggressive behavior. Now, he was not aggressive, but it could be a side effect. Drowsiness, dizziness, fever, nervousness, trouble sleeping, loss of appetite, weight loss, vomiting, signs of blood flow problems in the fingers or toes, unusual wounds on the fingers or toes, mental / mood / behavior changes, uncontrollable muscle movements. Now it goes on and on, even fainting, seizures, rashes, itching, trouble breathing. Okay, we looked at this. So after we saw all of that, so of course at that point we was in one accord. Right. Yes. Our son will not take this drug. He flushed it down the toilet. But he said what we will do is we are going to lay hands on this child. We're going to anoint him with blessed oil. We're going to pray the prayer of faith, Robin. And we're going to trust God. We did that. And we did that every day since, but we did it that day. And it was one of those where we had to just get before the Lord in a way that we knew and had to trust he was going to give us some answers because
Right.
he had flushed my one option down the toilet.
Right. Yes.
You know,
the first
he was
option.
not going to even just try it to see how it affected him.
Right.
Which is my thought was, well,
Thank
let's see
God.
how it affected him.
Yeah.
But he nope, we're not going to do it. I'm glad we didn't do it.